ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Kissy's back because
Shocking.
we can't stop. Um, but we wanted to come on. We are less than 48 hours away from Uncanny Experience, so we are going to be within vicinity. Myself, Kissy, and a whole lot of other X nerds, which I'm so excited about. But we're here to talk about comics. Which one do you want to start with
Oh my God.
on the spot?
I'll wait to yap about Sinister for once in my life. I'll wait. I'll wait. Even though the Emma Frost Sinister dress, the moment I saw it, I was like, I know what I'm
Oh,
making.
oh.
I saw it and I was like, I need this. I need it
Yes.
now. I don't know
Yes.
where I'm going to put it in our house, in our tiny apartment, but
Just wear it 24/7.
it'll be great. The cats will love the little plumage.
Yeah, and I remember the hell with it. We'll just get into it. I remember like
Yeah,
flipping
let's be
open,
real.
yeah, flipping open that page, the first comic, and like it hit me like a cement truck. Like, how has nobody in the history of the X-Men ever thought of Emma Frost in a Mr. Sinister dress? Because it's amazing.
It looks so good.
It does. It really, really
So
does.
it further cements the great loss that we suffered with Miss Sinister being like, don't get me wrong, I love a pair of hot pants as much as the next queer, but when I saw that her outfit was literally just kind of like a tube top and hot pants, I'm like, you're femme sinister. It felt like, go girl, give us
Right.
nothing. Like, I'm expecting Elvira.
hmm
I want more from you. And then finally with Emo, I was like, yes, this is what I wanted.
Yes, the full like Victorian like hoop dress style plumage.
With like
The
the giant diamond on the stomach and
mm
everything. I was like,
hmm
yes,
Gosh.
finally.
Now they're talking. I almost wish I had the comic sitting right here so I could like hold it up and like show people. By the way, folks, just it occurs to me we're talking about Exceptional X-Men, the current run, and that was a bizarre issue. Not bizarre in a bad way, in any way, shape, or form, but
Mhm.
we were like in the twisted mind of Essex, and it was as deliciously weird as you would think it would be.
And I loved it. I loved everything happening. I'm like, do I know what's going on? Not really. Am I happy to be here? Yes.
Yes.
Which is
It
personally my favorite flavor of comic.
yes.
So,
Yes, it was very much Alice in Wonderland down the rabbit hole sort of trippy digging into that Ed dream state sort of shenanigans. I'm still not entirely sure I know what all happened. And I read the book twice. I imagine it's one of those things we're gonna like slowly reveal as like the next issue or maybe even the issue after comes out. But I'll just say it was good.
mhm. I think we're definitely going to get more like context, and it's definitely going to be one of those cases of as more issues come out, we'll reread pieces and be like, "Oh, okay, that makes more sense." And I personally love things like that. Like I love a movie where you can see more details of it when you rewatch it. Not a movie where it's like, "Oh, this doesn't make in like this is just a bunch of schlock that was put together," but a movie where it's so detailed that the more times you watch it, the more you pick up on little subtle nuances. So I love when a comic does that same thing with the storytelling. Like you can clearly see that there's a plan in place. And I feel like that's what's happening here. So I'm really excited to see how it goes. Now that you mentioned the Alice in Wonderland thing, I don't know how it would fit into anything, but I would love a like because he would do this, him or Arcade, to be honest. I know that they do not have a good relationship anymore because of the crap that happened on Krakoa between them. But like one of those two fuckers pulling a just full on Alice in Wonderland type thing but like American McGee style.
Oh, okay.
Do you know American McGee, Mike?
Yes, yes,
Yes. Like just
yes,
drag one of the teams in and just go. Either
yes.
with Mr. Sinister, like, I don't know, lobotomizing some people for fun, or just it's Murder World, but now it's Alice in Wonderlandy
Yeah,
here.
that sounds like a whole that could be a whole like 5 issue miniseries in and of
Oh
itself.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I want that. But I do think it's hilarious that you say that not so sure that Mr. Sinister has such a good relationship with Arcade. Does Mr. Sinister have a good relationship with anybody? Like, is anybody's like, oh dude, Sinister's here, dope.
I mean, well, besides us
Right, yeah.
being like, oh, he's here, amazing.
Pookie.
Because he's Pookie. The amount of like friends that I've made online that like I'll just post about Mr. Sinister and they'll come into my DMs and be like, "Oh my God, you also like Sinister?" And I'm like, "Come into the light. Show yourself publicly."
I think people do because he's a great it's a I mean technically yeah villain right like yeah
Oh,
he is
he's terrible. I want to put him in a
yeah
salad spinner.
that's why like because he's such a terrible person
He
but
sucks.
the best way and it's interesting ever since you and I did the very first podcast and we were talking about Mr. Sinister whenever people bring him up the best line that I can give is one that you said where Mr. Sinister and his little cunty self. Like if that doesn't like encapsulate him in like the best possible form, I don't know
Yeah,
what does.
because he's both a cunt in personality and in like aura,
Yeah, he
in his
does.
overall zhuzh.
Yeah. And his Mr. I don't care what other people think, but I have to be dressed and look a certain way 24/7.
Yeah, he
Um,
serves.
yeah. Do you think he has pajamas? Or does he sleep in that damn suit?
I feel honestly, I could see him either being the type of person that like either is like a nude guy or he has like I could 100% see him rocking with those like big robes that you'll see in like a gothic noir novel where the heroine is wearing one holding like a candelabra walking through the halls as like fucking Dracula is after her,
Right.
except he's
Yeah.
he's wearing it.
Yeah. I could see him as a sleeping commando guy.
Mhm.
Um, that's what I want. I really want an issue, a single issue of any book. It can even be a one shot where Mr. Sinister is working on something devious and his computer like has to compile
I was like,
something.
you mean everyone that he's in?
Yes. Yes. Like so he sits at his computer, he says, "Okay, I just have to compile this genetic data." And he hits enter and it begins and a timer comes up and it's like says it's going to take 24 hours. So it's 24 hours. The whole issue is just 24 hours of Mr. Sinister like in his house with nothing to do.
I would
There
just
doesn't
get like
even
his life.
yeah, like no
Like, what does he
dialogue.
do?
Yeah, exactly. Like does he just like microwave a burrito and like watch Pawn Stars? Like what how would Mr. Sinister fill his recreational time?
I mean, we don't know a lot about what he does. We know he does cuddle his cat. We know that. And we know that he canonically does watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
I could see that.
So we know those two things, that he cuddles his cat and he watches RuPaul's Drag Race. So like relatable content, me
Hmm.
too. Um I doubt he's a workout guy because he can just program that shit into him. So I
Yeah,
doubt he spends the time like actually like training himself.
yeah, it wouldn't be leg day. Right.
He's not going to go pump some iron.
Right. It would be funny. Like he strikes me as a tea guy, not so much a
Oh,
coffee guy.
well, yeah, there's like a scene of him complaining about the qualities of different tea. So he's probably like really picky about it. I mean, he's English. Like,
Right, yeah. Yeah. Did you it was a really I mean he wasn't in it a lot, but they recently finished the 5 issue miniseries Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk. Um
I did not read it. I I'm not like super into Sabretooth. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I love how a lot of it's weird. I don't read a lot of Sabretooth stories, to be honest, but a lot of my friends that have drawn Sabretooth, I love how he's depicted in art
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like he's one of those characters that I don't know, something about him, he is able to be drawn so dynamically that I don't think I've seen a rendition of him that I've disliked. Like, no matter what his character changes are, he's one of those characters that I don't think I've seen a single costume of his or a single way that he's been drawn, whether in battle or just existing, that I've disliked. He's a very dynamic character.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like he's also like a horrible person. Do
Oh,
not like him.
oh
I
yeah.
would never want to be around him
Mm-hmm.
because fuck him. But like he's incredibly dynamic, so I understand completely why any artist would be like, I'm jumping to draw him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've never really read any solo stories about him. I don't
Ye-
really know a lot about him other than like the greatest hits. So,
Well, he's one of those who's fun because he can vary significantly based upon interpretation of the writer. Like there are times there's like especially in like more modern like X-Men books that take place modern, I mean, where he's very much just like a bestial, savage, sadistic, like will gut a child right in front of you just to see your reaction. But then there are other ones where it's like you see him like I don't want to say a good guy, like unless it's Age of Apocalypse, so you never really see Sabretooth as a good guy.
and Age of
Um,
Apocalypse is like its own other dimension,
yeah, that was a
almost like a what
fascinating.
if type
Yeah.
of.
And that was a really fascinating take on Sabretooth because he was more of like the Wolverine type character in that book, where he was more of like the good guy and always had Wild Child hanging on his shoulder. And um, but
Oh,
anyway,
Wild Child.
yes, I don't know if you know Richter Bloodmark, but she's doing a Wild Child cosplay for Uncanny, and she's been like teasing working on it in her TikToks like the last week or so. So I'm excited about seeing how that comes out.
I've never seen a Wild Child cosplay.
Neither
That's
have
gonna be
I.
I love
Yes.
Wild Child.
Yeah, and she's a tall human being. So like
Long Wild
yeah, she
Child.
is like she's a tall, slender human being. So I feel like that's gonna look phenomenal.
Especially with all like the hunched over poses of Wild Child.
Right.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Oh, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, but the back to it, the dead don't talk. I want to say it takes place in like the 1880s, 1890s in New York City. And it begins where Sabretooth is like sinister Nathaniel Essex. He's sort of like he's basically his orderly in his lab. Like,
Now, this fucking
yeah,
guy.
yeah, drags the dead prisoners and throws them in cells and gives them food and mops the blood and junk off the floors. And yeah, eventually somebody comes along and is like, "Hey, I got something better for you." And he ends up rising to sort of being like the crime lord of New York City.
So
And
like that kind of like a Gangs of New York type of deal.
yeah, exactly. And
Okay.
there is a woman who's sent from I don't maybe Cum Lao, where like, Iron Fist is from, who's
Okay.
basically like sent to take him out, and they actually end up like falling in love and like get together and decide they're going to run this criminal empire together. And then she gets murdered. And, like once she gets murdered, he kind of doesn't care anymore. Like he could really give a shit about being a crime lord. That's not his shtick. And then at the end of it, Nathaniel Essex pops up and says, "Hey, I hear you've given up on the whole crime thing." And I realize now I probably didn't give you enough credit and didn't give you enough to do and didn't value your services. So if you
I
want to
didn't
come,
enrich your environment
yeah,
enough. I'm sorry.
right, yeah, I want you to come back and I will do my best so you feel fulfilled. I will give you more people to kill. You
We're
know,
a family here at this company.
yeah, exactly. I've already got the pizza. We're gonna have the company pizza party, and it's gonna be fantastic. It was interesting just to get that take, on Victor Creed, and at the very end, I think like the very last pages, Nathaniel Essex is talking to him. He sees a newspaper, and on the newspaper, there's a like the front article is about a bar fight that like broke out at a bar somewhere in like upstate New York, and three people ended up killed, and there's a composite drawing of the perpetrator, and it looks like
It's fucking
Wolverine.
Wolverine. Yep.
Yeah, and Victor says, "Yeah, I'll probably come work for you, Essex, but I got to go take care of something first."
But
And then that
hold
was the
on.
end. That was the end of the last issue, and it was like, "Oh man, come
He's
on."
never fucking coming back.
Right, yeah.
You're never seeing this man again until like 100 years later.
Right, yeah. Like all of a sudden they're on an island. Hey, wait, I know you, bro. You know?
I used to work for that guy.
Yeah, that's weird.
As
How
he's
you been?
immediately pulled into the pit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so how many dead have you racked up in the last 120 years? Oh, I lost count somewhere in the 50s, yeah.
What have you been up to?
No, right, yeah, yeah. Still as cunty as ever, I see. Yeah, the but what other X books you on right now? What's tickling your fancy?
Well, I don't know if you did you read any of the kind of like Lovecraftian stuff that was going on with the Louisiana X-Men?
Gail Simone's book?
Mm-hmm.
I can't put that book down. That is so good. You talking about the Dark Artery, like four
Mm-hmm.
issues? That was really good. That was really good. You brought it up, so I'll let you talk first on it, but I love this.
Well, one of the thing, look, two things. One, I really liked it because one, I'm a big, when it comes to like weird magic involvement in comics, I'm a big fan of, I guess, the unknowable. And this kind of felt very much akin to that. Like, I like when they get into that, again, Lovecraftian, like, you stare into the void and then the void stares back and oh God, madness, that type of thing. And like the realms of death and oogie boogie. Um, and I initially made the mistake of going on the internet and just being like, let's see what other people think of it. And I went on Reddit, the hive of scum and villainy, like a fool,
Oh,
like a moron.
yes.
I was feeling naive. And there were people that did agree with my takes. I didn't post anything because I am not that stupid. Um, I have some sense of self-preservation about me, but there were other people that were like, I didn't get it. And why are we bringing magic into the X-Men? And I'm like, girl, where have you been? One, this is kind of return to form, if anything. And two, even just like last year, we had magic in the X-Men. One, there's a bitch called Magic for one thing. Straight up. Two, like we have had magic mutants for forever. Like magic and mutants have been intertwined. Magic's a big deal in the Marvel universe.
Doctor Strange, Loki, Cleo, like there's a whole
Yeah.
thing there. Yeah.
And even if you just are like specifically mutants that have ties to magic, like Wanda, the head bitch. I'm sorry, she's a mutant.
Yeah.
Magic and
Mhm.
her whole limbo thing. The whole Excalibur stuff. Like, I'm not even a big Captain Britain fan, but like all of that with like the 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 X-Men D&D realm,
Hmm.
like it felt very return to form for me, and
Hmm.
I liked that. And the second thing was I loved the outfits. It
Yes.
was giving, it was giving Blade, it was giving 90s, it was giving like Queen of the Damned
Yes.
Vampire Club,
Yes.
especially Rogue's hair
Oh my
and
God.
makeup.
And
I know everyone was thirsting over Gambit, but I was like, move,
and
move.
Jubilee
I need to look at Rogue right now.
and Jubilee didn't even look that goth when she was a vampire. But
right?
she looked hella good, and like Wolverine with like the like mid waist thing and the black
His
gloves,
his
and
Kylo Ren outfit.
yes, taco meat out, like just
Everyone looked so good.
hmm.
Oh my God. Like I'm lying in wait because I've worked with too much leather. I want a fucking break. Um, I promised Hillary that I would take a break with PVC and leather. So I will not be touching those outfits no matter how much I want to.
How long of a break did you promise? Because you're not working on it right now, so that's a break. So as soon as the
You're
podcast is over,
so right.
see?
You're so right. But also I really want to do that Emma dress first
Oh, I feel that.
because I need it.
Hmm.
But that robe is so fucking cute.
It is.
Oh
It
my God.
is. And I sort of, when it comes to X-Men and the X-Men and the history of the X-Men books, they've run the full gambit, huh, of types of.
So stupid. We're so fucking
I know,
smart.
I know, I love it. But of types of stories that it's like, but for some reason you get a collection of fans who are only happy if the X-Men are punching Sentinels, right? Like it should be like, oh, we're fighting big robots, bad guys, which I'm totally fine with. I'm more of like, I love the characters. I don't care what they're doing. I want a good story.
Yep.
And the Dark Artery series in there was such a good story arc about these mutants like long ago in this area who were persecuted and the people who persecuted them being like damned. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I was kind of upset it was only 4 issues because like I felt like I could have
I
got
know. I
more.
was like, I feel like this could have been a little longer.
Right, right. But I feel like in some way it'll come back, and it was cool the way like they revealed that like long before the X-Men that the symbol X to mutants meant that was a secret way of saying this is a safe place. Like this is a place where you can go. And yeah, and oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm drawing a brain fart. The one kid, one of the outliers, the death talking kid. Oh my gosh.
Oh, the edgy one. Oh my God.
Yeah, the emo Japanese kid.
Oh my God.
Or is he Korean? Might be Korean.
Oh my God. I'm drawing a blank on his
I
name. It's something that
know.
I remember when I first saw it. I'm like, what is that? And then I remember that he's a
Yes.
teenager, and I'm like, I would have Death Dream.
Death
Death
Dream. That's
Dream.
it. He was such a great character in that storyline. Like his power set was like perfect for that to like that whole story to take place. Personally, I loved it, but it had to come to an end because we were like anxiously awaiting issue 17 and getting Mutina, which
Hmm.
had been teased for a while that, oh, Mutina's coming, Mutina's coming. Have you read that issue yet?
I have not. I've
Okay.
been so busy with stuff that I haven't gotten to it. I'm excited for Mutina as well, not gonna lie, as just a horror fan. And I hope they dig into the whole like the propaganda element of it. That it's clearly from the previews that I saw, it's very clear that it's not just a ooh mutant horror movie. It's very clear that it's like, okay, it's humans making a anti-mutant propaganda piece.
Mhm.
And so I'm considering the writing thus far has been good. I'm like, okay, I'm excited to see how this is handled because this is something that I know that in the wrong hands this could be very bad. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I also feel like Mutina is definitely one of those characters that from her design alone, I'm like, this is gonna get cosplayed a fuck ton. I'm not complaining about this, but I'm like, that is a ripe for cosplay character.
Yes.
And I can't help but wonder if that was purposeful.
I
Not to
that's
like put on my tinfoil hat, but like she looks like a character that like maybe just in their own universe also would be like a cheaper version of her outfit could be like sold at Spirit Halloween. Like,
right.
like the original Suicide Squad Harley Quinn, that type of
Hmm.
thing. She
Yeah.
looks like something that could be perpetuated easily.
Yeah. I'll Hey everybody, as long as you're looking, we'll get it out of the glare. That's the 1 in 25 variant cover. And I was so excited that my comic shop got one of these. And I got there right when they opened because this was the one I wanted to get so I can get it autographed at Uncanny. But yeah, it's funny that you say all that because I remember when it first got posted on Facebook a couple months ago. And somebody came in, I saw somebody comment and said, that is the most cosplay bait new character I have ever seen. And it kind of
Right?
occurred to me, like, I wonder, just like you said, like, I mean, it's at least worth asking in your own mind. I don't care either way what the answer is because it's freaking cool, right? But
Hmm.
sometimes you wonder, like, that's kind of like a bit of a, I don't know, like a meta level of writing. Like,
I
I'm going to
kind
create
of,
a character that a lot of people will want to cosplay.
I mean, I know when I design characters, I try to keep things like that in mind if it would be part of their character to have something like that. And I feel like for this character, it would make a lot of sense. I mean, the mask itself makes sense just because, like, to call back to so many slashers, most of them have a mask. But why would they cover up her eyes if she's supposed to have almost this, like, cutesy e-girl aesthetic?
Hmm.
And then, like, the blonde hair with the partial pigtails. That's so the Harley Quinn original Suicide Squad. Like,
Right.
it mashes together all of these elements mixed with like the TikTok e-girl, easy to cosplay. Like, I
It,
want to be able to ask so bad, like, as a character designer, did you do this on purpose? Because everything in my brain is telling me this was on purpose. Am I
yes.
crazy?
And I don't want to, because you haven't read it, I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm beginning to suspect after one issue there's a potentially a social commentary being made here as well. Specifically
Social
about the,
commentary in the X-Men?
I know it went woke. It went woke, ladies and
Marvel's gone fucking woke.
gentlemen.
Just like DC and
And
Superman being an
Superman.
immigrant. Oh my fucking God.
We have drank the Kool-Aid.
God.
God, it's like,
Superman, undocumented immigrant. Oh my God.
and you see it like years ago when people were complaining that Star Wars went woke. I saw
It
like
has wars in the name.
I know, like literally, it is a metaphor. Um, and the
So
worst is like
stupid.
people complaining that the band Rage Against the Machine got all political.
Right, it's like, girl, what did you think the machine was that they were raging against?
It wasn't the Courage. I guarantee you that. Like, literally, listen to the lyrics of their songs. They're the most political band to ever exist. And yeah, so there's nothing worse than it's a tired, sad old joke to see people on online. Oh, I like the X-Men until they went woke, and I'm like, you mean 1963 when they went woke? Like, or Captain America went woke, even though he's punching Hitler on the cover of the very first issue. They should bring that back. Yeah, anyway, but yeah, that's why I wonder if there's a social commentary being made within it, not necessarily about, I mean, yes, necessarily about the mutant, anti-mutant people who are out there, but then also specifically social media and the type of people that it can produce, and people are more concerned about chasing the views and chasing the clicks than they are about being a decent human being. So that's now it's just like I feel like I want to show up to Uncanny this weekend and just like open my mouth and like unload a dump truck into Gail's face of questions. And I recognize I'm not going to be able to do that, and that's the most devastating part.
Right. No, like, with the I'm deviating a little bit,
You're
but
allowed.
like with the I'll allow it, I guess. With the social media and social commentary thing, I remember that there's a DC character actually that um a lot of people dislike, but I actually am like, no, a lot of people dislike this female character. I'm gonna like her more. Called Punchline.
Okay.
And she originally was like supposed to be another Joker lackey. People were calling to have people buy issues. People were calling her the new Harley Quinn. She wasn't that. It was a marketing ploy, a clever one, mind you. But and a big thing that she has started to do in recent arcs is she has started to weaponize um, media outlets like Twitch and different streaming platforms and will commit crimes on these platforms in order to get viewership and to get lackeys and things like that, which is something that happens in real life, but she will talk in kind of tech speak and things like that. And a lot of people find that very irritating about her character, that she talks about likes and things, and they say like, oh, it puts her in one time period. But I actually really like that about her because I think that it shows how topical she is, and it shows that like fact that no, this is actually like this is a huge problem
Mm-hmm.
because there are she's showing like snuff films basically on Twitch to her audiences, and she's like releasing basically Joker gas with it. It's very complicated and weird. Batman is fucking weird, bro. Um, but I think it makes her a very topical and interesting character that is taking something that should be very camp and is doing it in a very sinister way. And I like that. So I like the idea of Mutina because I think that it's doing something. If it's doing what we think we're doing, is doing something very similar. And I know that a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's cringe. But no, I think that's good for our modern era, especially with how much things like as a user of TikTok, I know how TikTok is like actually like there are a lot of bad things on things like TikTok and how much like AI slop is out there and how much people can get sucked into the whole machine of likes and clout and things like that. I think characters like Punchline and Mutina are really good to have as a kind of like, hey, look, this is actually bad, you guys. So
Mm-hmm.
there's my tangent.
I love it. I think, yeah, it's dead on. I think it fits so well because if there's one thing we've seen with Gail since Uncanny has started, and of course her having a background in writing horror. Like we got the Sarah Gaunt storyline, which was fantastic, had a lot of horror elements. So Dark Artery had a lot of horror elements. Now we're getting Mutina, which clearly has some, the fact that it's about a horror slasher movie where a mutant is, killing regular people. It fits with her writing style and also true to X-Men is what I think, again, making at least one, if not several, social commentaries at the exact same time. Um, I am, it's the one downside to comics is that they only come out once a month. It's
Yeah,
like seeing a movie like 10 minutes at a time. And then you got to wait a month to see the next 10 minutes. And when it's like, and of course, they're really good at the cliffhangers, and leaving it there to the point where it's like you're already like looking up online like what's the date the next issue comes out.
yeah.
But it is interesting, like what you said about the cosplay thing. I feel like had this issue come out 3 months ago, we would have Mutine as an uncanny experience this
Oh,
weekend. Like a
100%.
hundred
As
percent.
we
Yeah.
should.
Yes.
As we should.
Yes. My wife Jamie is already very much wanting to cosplay that character. I remember a couple months ago
Good, good.
I posted it in my Instagram story, just a picture of the cover and the character. And the amount of people who are cosplayers but have never cosplayed an X-Men character like DM'd me and went, "Oh my God, I need to cosplay that." I don't know anything about the character other than her name, but I feel like I have to cosplay that. So yes, it'll be interesting as like the next 12 months goes by, how many Mutinas we start seeing at cons, and I'm here for every last one of them.
Good. Good. I'm here for it.
Me too.
Again, I feel like that again, if we are right, I feel like that works even better if it's like people that it's like, I don't even know anything. This is the first X-Men I've cosplayed. I don't know anything about the character. It's like perfect.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Good. that makes this even better. That's exactly right for the story.
Uh-huh.
I
And
will
I
be so pleased.
right. And I get from a personal perspective and not my personal perspective, but I would think it'd be really, really cool if you're Gail Simone who's writing this book, or you're the one designing the character and you debut this new character. And let's say 10 years goes by and neither one of you are have working on X-Men anymore, haven't been in a while, but you still go to cons and see people cosplaying that character.
Oh, I start
Like,
crying.
yeah, that's like some longevity stuff when it comes to like legacy.
Mhm.
That's part of the reason why, because it's like her debut and she's on the cover. I'm like, if there's a book I'm going to get signed by Gail Simone this weekend, it is 100% this one because I want that like in my collection. I'm debating CG seeing it. I really am. CG Sing's not cheap, but on the other hand, it looks pretty darn, especially since it just came out. Like I literally walked into my comic book store with a bag and board in hand to grab that book
You
and
were
slide
ready
it in before I
to
even paid for
go.
it. Yes. So it would be as close to like 9899 as it could possibly get. And so yeah, here we are.
I think that's like also one of the reasons why cosplaying sometimes more obscure characters is fun too. Just because like it's fun, I feel like for the creators as well, just to be like, look, there's someone that like really cares about your character, even if you haven't seen that character in however long a time.
Hmm. And boom, there they are. Um, we're we're making amazing progress on this podcast. So I gotta ask,
Yes,
Magic, where are you at on that one?
I am woefully behind. I
Just
know.
woefully like
I'm so wrapped up with everything with Uncanny that I
yes.
was like, I need to get my Pookie's read,
Hmm.
and then everything has just been cosplay.
Yeah, and I feel that I'm like I'm in no way, shape, or form judging because I was that way. And then all of a
Mm,
sudden, like last Sunday, I literally made myself sit down and for like 2 hours did nothing but read comics because I had like a couple months worth piled up. Like with the exception of like the new issues of Uncanny and the new issues of Lord Kenny Wolverine, I haven't like those were ones like I read like the day they came out, and the rest of them like just kept piling up. And I'm like, I got to get a chunk of these out of the way. I got to like, and then you got to do the bagging and boarding and putting in the boxes and I got to upload them to the app so I know exactly what I have. Like I don't already know, but
yeah.
just to be on the safe side. Do you have any other books you're caught up on or are interested in or?
I mean, again, I'm getting fully caught up on the Krakoa era, which
That's right. Yeah.
again is wild. Where did I leave off? Bum, 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 bum. Uh, I left off. I've got a giant thing of my like, I've got a whole document of the like Krakoa original reading order of like if you want to do everything in order. And I'm currently in the like fourth arc of Reign of X. So I left off with I'm on X Corp number 1 is where I'm at currently. So I'm almost done with Reign of X.
Okay.
So
I
into the OG Hellfire Gala.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, like there's a lot of that stuff I haven't even read to this point. So there's a lot of it where it's like that's kind of like my plan eventually once I get through con season is to like be where you are, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like okay, gonna get the master list and gonna get on Marvel Unlimited and just start like checking them off one by one because I was kind of in and out during. I actually came in to comics towards like the tail, not the very tail end, but past the midway point of Krakoa.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point in time, because I hadn't read an X-Men comic in over 10 years, I had no idea what was going on. So I had to go back and read like, House of X, Powers of X to like find out like, okay, how did all this crap get started and who are these people and what are they doing and why are there eggs? Like, what
Everyone's
the
coming out of
hell?
eggs now.
Yeah, like that's weird. Where's the mansion? I don't get it. But yeah, that's been, and then since then it's been like, read through the whole end of Krakoa, Dead X-Men, and Fall of X. And then we went right into From the Ashes. And, since From the Ashes started, for the first 6 months of From the Ashes, I was getting every single X book. and reading them. And then after 6 months, I can start to say, okay, these three in particular, I don't need to get every month. Like, I'm just going to be honest, like they're not holding my interest. Yeah, and just reading you know how life is, man. Like just
Yeah,
having enough time to read in and of itself, like drives me insane.
yeah. No, but it's it's been good. I was able to get also to the one of my favorite parts, which is just like in one of the Pride issues, seeing a bit more of the backstory of how Mystique and Destiny met. I'm biased, obviously, but
Ah,
like because do you know how they met?
I don't.
So, we don't actually know how old Mystique is, old as balls. But we know that Irene Adler started like just having visions when she was younger and was like, I need to Nostradamus this shit right now in case all of these come true. So she just started writing everything down in a series of journals until she went blind. She damaged her eyesight so badly. And then eventually she was chilling in London, as one does, and she met this dude and she fell in love with this dude. And this dude's name was Sherlock Holmes. And then one day, this dude reveals to her, by the way, I'm in fact not a dude. I'm a blue mutant. So Mystique was just in London solving mysteries for the love of the game. I don't think we know why. Not for any reason that I know of.
Yeah, Mystique probably just kind of like Sherlock Holmes, just to say I did,
Yeah,
just to prove that I'm smarter than you and I can figure it out and I can put the pieces of the puzzle together. That sounds very, very on point.
yep. And that's also when they met Mr. Sinister because he was Jack the Ripper.
Mm. It all comes full circle.
Yep. They
It
were
all
like, they were told about this Jack the Ripper guy that they needed to hunt down. And they were like, okay, we can solve that. And so Mystique disguised herself as a prostitute and was basically like, come get your juice, come kill me. And then she heard a scream in an alleyway and she's like, oh, target fucking acquired. She goes to the alleyway and there's butt ass naked Mr. Sinister with his hand through a dude's head.
it's like that's Nathaniel, that's not necessary. Like
Uh, so when he first in the like newish, like semi-revised canon, or I guess like additional canon. I don't know if it's like a complete retcon or if it's just like in addition, after Apocalypse gave him his powers, it almost like seemed like a Jekyll Hyde scenario in that he would have these like I'm just going a little crazy at night moments where he would turn into the Sinister we know and love today where he's like jacked and shit and would just be like, I just gotta like kill somebody because reasons and steal some organs, maybe, as one does. And so Mystique shoots a hole in his head and he just kind of laughs at her and then scurries up a building like a little rat.
what?
And so she's like, what the fuck? And so she jumps up the building and follows him as he's running naked up the London rooftops. She follows him to his house, and then her and Irene break in as he's on the floor and he's like, don't look at me, ladies. And they're like, we don't give a fuck. As he turns back into like the scrawny, sickly version of Nathaniel, as he's like the OG Nathaniel. And he tells them like all of what's going on and how he made a deal with an Egyptian man. Yeah. And he starts going on to them about how he's like, I've solved this thing about mutation, and from my predictions, terrible AI is going to come into the future and all of these things. And because now I know you guys are mutants, we have to be on the same side in the future because horrible things are going to happen. And he's like coughing up blood and freaking out. And Destiny needs him to shut up, so she punches him in the face. And that's how they met.
That's that's better story than Twilight. As I
A
have to
ton of other
say.
stuff happens, but after that, that's basically what leads into the like discussion of when those like four big Sinister clones, the suits of Sinister,
Mhm.
dealio.
Okay. Yeah, what run was that in? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Oh, that was Sins of Sinister,
Okay.
but they first started talking about it in one of the Pride issues from like 2021. I want to say so they were sprinkling in that shit early.
Okay. Interesting. I'm gonna have to go back and now I really want to go back and reread, go back and read some of that stuff. That's one of the issues that you run into when you're an X-Men fan. I would be it would be interesting to meet somebody who from issue one in 1963 has read every single issue of X-Men that has ever come out and somehow has all the information retained and at the ready. Because I have to admit that's actually one of the things I love about X-Men is because everybody has different eras and they know
Mhm.
different eras and are fans of different eras, sometimes multiple eras like I am, and that's great. But there's always somebody out there who knows more about some aspect of it than you do. And I find that to be like very rejuvenating and very cool, because it's like back in the day when there were only three Star Wars movies and there had only been three Star Wars movies for like decades. It was kind of boring talking to Star Wars fans
Because
because like
everyone knew
yeah,
everything.
everybody knew everything, X-Men, yeah, that's definitely not the case.
Oh yeah. And in my experience, it's usually like you'll meet someone and they'll either have an era or they're like, I know everything about this specific dude.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, Toad's my guy. I know everything about Toad. I know his maiden name. I know his social security number. I know the street he grew up on.
Yes, whether he's boxers or briefs,
Right? Like, if someone has
everything.
a favorite X-Men, it's like they know everything about that motherfucker.
Yes, yes. And those people can be intimidating to talk to. Like fascinating but intimidating. Like I met somebody who was like knew everything about Jean Grey and would
There's
just
a lot about
yeah,
her. That's
Jean
kind of
Grey's yeah,
scary.
that's a dense character to like know a lot about. Like if you know a lot about Toad, like okay, cool. But yeah, when you meet her, they know a lot about Storm. They know everything about Storm. They know oh man, that's hats off to them for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I love Mystique. I don't know everything about Mystique because there's a lot. Like, I think I know like a good chunk of stuff. The
Hmm.
good, the bad, and the ugly. Like, there are a lot of things that she's done that are terrible, and I'm like, I don't defend that.
You're right. Well,
I know
you
when you turned into that kid Fox or whatever, and I'm like, I don't defend that.
right. Yeah, well,
Nope.
that's the thing about those characters, especially like is Mystique a villain? I would say yes.
I would say yes. Like, she had her like anti-hero moments, but it's like I would say she's a villain.
Hmm.
She's she's in it to protect her wife and Rogue and Kurt sometimes
Sometimes.
and cats
Hmm.
because she didn't want Sabretooth to eat them.
Yeah.
So like but other than that, she's like no. She's not even in it to protect herself. She's like I'll turn to a husk, but
Right.
if I make sure that my family's safe, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Which I have to admire and respect to be completely honest.
Hmm. So yeah, and wouldn't let Sabretooth eat her cat. So headline, mutant deprives war veteran of hot meal. Like bitch, come
And single
on.
father. War
Yes.
veteran and single father.
Yeah, struggling with depression and PTSD and every arrangement of letters under the sun. He has on his medical docket. Yeah. Yeah, well we are we've like plowed through this time as we always do.
Yep.
These are so good, and I'm excited because we literally get to like see each other in a little over 24 hours and do
I was gonna
our
say, I'm like, we get to go get din din with the
yes,
squad.
yeah, we get to have our group hang, and then it's Uncanny weekend. So any of you listening, if you're going to be at Uncanny, I look forward to seeing you. If you're not, I hope you come to the next one. But you will definitely hear from Kissy and myself again.
We will be very loud.
Yes, as always, talking about something. So we're gonna get out of here, folks. Thanks again for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.